In crochet, when you're making a garment or just working straight rows, you are required to work a number of chains, and then you work your first row into those chains. Either the underside, where you put your hook through the single loop of a yarn, or the top side, where you're using the default method, where you work through both loops of a yarn. So you have one below, the two above. What I want to show you is quite simple and quick, and it's to actually create the foundation row, your first row, as you go along. I'm going to show you how to do this in treble stitch. Start as you would always do your cast on. Set up your tension. Your first chain is going to be the foundation of the second stitch. Because we're doing treble, you need to work 3 chains. Because the height of a treble is 3 chains, and when you work row 2, when you're on your way back after the first row, you will work into the top of these 3 chains, these 3, because that's the equivalent of a stitch. So here we have the 4 chains. The first treble, hook under the yarn, go through, on this first chain only, go through this underside here so that you just have the 1 loop of yarn. Bring the yarn through. Now at this stage, you would put the hook under the yarn, come through 2, hook under the yarn, come through 2. But what we need to do first of all is to create the foundation for the next stitch. So hook under the yarn, work 1 chain. Now you will work your treble. Hook under the yarn, bring it through 2, hook under the yarn, bring it through 2. So we have 2 stitches there. So again, put it through the base chain that you did using the default. Hook under the yarn, bring it through. Do 1 chain to create the base for the next stitch. Bring the yarn through 2, bring the yarn through 2, you've got your treble. And you can see the base chain is just here. So again, look at your base chain, put your hook through the default, bring the yarn through, work 1 chain for the next stitch, hook under the yarn, bring it through 2, hook under the yarn, bring it through 2. Repeat. Hook through the base stitch, bring the yarn through. Base chain, I should say. Hook under the yarn, bring it through 1 to create the base for the next stitch. Hook under the yarn, bring it through 2. Hook under the yarn, bring it through 2. Through the base chain, yarn through. Through 2, through 2. If you're puzzled by this, just keep your thumb and your finger on the foundation chain for the next stitch. Bring the yarn through 2, bring the yarn through 2. So that when you do go to work it, you've kept it a bit separate. You know where it is. Again, keep your thumb and finger there. Bring the yarn through that 1 chain, bring it through 2, bring it through 2. It's there, it's that one. Underneath, bring the yarn through, bring it through 1, through 2, through 2. Best way to do is to actually look underneath, go through the default. It looks very much like the others. Bring the yarn through, 1 chain, 2, 2. Bring it through, 1 chain, bring it through 2, bring it through 2. How many have we done? Those 3 chains created 1 stitch. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. He went through the wrong one. There you go, that's how it's looking. One chain, through two. Let's have another count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So you can see that's quite neat. The underneath is very neat. Chains, you've got the chains appearance here, and it matches what's on top. And the beauty of this is it doesn't twist. Not like the conventional method of casting on using chains and then working your first row. And it's so much easier to count. You can either count the stems or you count the number of chains. Far easier to count like this than just to count a series of chains. So that is your worked foundation row in treble stitch.